Dude, you look like someone recorded you off a flip phone. Yeah.
Nokia.
What a week. Gotta say, breaking news. As of 2 hours ago, Jim Harbaugh officially announced his rival to the Chargers as their head coach, leaving Michigan after winning a national championship to coach a mid quarterback with a very mid roster. So I'm sure this doesn't. Okay. Well, look. Pretty
Mark
wild.
my words, the Chargers will be in the playoffs next year. It is wild, though. Okay, I'll say this.
Yeah.
And Isaac said this as well, but if Justin Herbert next year doesn't prove anything, doesn't do anything, again, misses the playoffs, he's mid, he sucks. I'll give you all the praise in the world, Keaton.
All right. Thank you.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. January 24th.
He sucks. He's a bum.
He's not.
Okay. Well, he might be.
But we'll see. He might be. Yeah, let's share the screen, fellas, because someone went 4 for 4.
Who would that someone be?
And that someone is definitely not Schmatt or Schmeaton.
Wow. It's Schmackery?
It is Schmackery.
Let's jump into the first game. It was the first game that happened, too. Texans at Ravens. The final score of that was 10-34. Honestly, such a shout out the Texans for making it this far. People did not think Baltimore could win. Like, people obviously had Baltimore winning this game, but I think a lot of those same people were doubting like Lamar Jackson in the playoffs because, like, statistically he hasn't been good in said playoff games. God, he looked good.
He looked
marvelous. LaMarvelous.
What did you just say? Ew.
LaMarvelous.
Oh my God.
That's fire.
A glazed donut you are. Oh my gosh, the glazing's crazy. LaMarvelous. That is crazy glazing. Oh my God.
Glazing. That's not glazing.
Dude, you took one layer of glaze at Krispy Kreme and then went to Dunkin' and asked for another glaze. And just smashed them together.
Everyone right now is calling everyone's calling Lamar Jackson Captain Lamarica because
that's insane. Granted, people are comparing Joe Montana or people are comparing Brock Purdy to Joe Montana on Twitter right now. So I don't want to hear it from Niner fans. Like, I think you guys get anti-pass. You guys get to go sit in the corner with the dunce hat on.
No. With Ambry Thomas. We'll go sit in the corner with Ambry Thomas. That man needs to go back to college.
Okay. I can respect that. Anyway. Going into this game, Baltimore had never, I believe they hadn't advanced to a conference championship since 2011, the year that they played the Niners in that Super Bowl. Since then, they are 1-3 in the playoffs, and Lamar is, I think, the same. He was 1-3 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So definitely a big game. They proved that they were really good. I see a lot of people doubting him against the Chiefs, but what are your takeaways from that game?
Honestly, I was a little worried for the Ravens in the beginning, and it's crazy because we kind of called this game. Actually, we kind of called it for both the first seeds, but we'll continue with this game. I mean, we literally called this game to a T. Like, we said it was going to be tied or close, and we all called close to a 10-10 score at half. It was 10-10 at half, and then the Ravens came out firing. Something clicked in that locker room. I saw a interview with Lamar, and he was like, yeah, like, we basically just got fired up in the locker room. Like, dude, whatever you said worked because they went on a 24-0 run in the third and fourth quarter to end it to be 34-10. So whatever he said clearly worked, and they look scary. They don't have a weakness, and I think this game might be the game of the year, to be honest with the Kansas City Chiefs, because the Chiefs clearly have the refs on their side. We won't go into it that much, but there's something going on there, man.
There is.
Again, I'm not going to say the NFL is scripted, but it's pretty clear. We'll get into that as well with the Bills and Josh Allen. But again, Baltimore looked dominant, and they did it in a dominant fashion like they have all year. So I'll give them their props when it's due, and it's definitely due right now.
Yeah. Ant, did you watch this game at all?
Yeah, I did.
What are your thoughts?
So Dak said exactly what I was going to say. We honestly called this game exactly to a T. It's a close game. We said exactly. It's going to be a close game in the first half. Second half, Ravens are going to come up on top and they're going to destroy the Texans. Maybe not destroy, but they're going to come up on top for sure. And basically whoop their asses, which they absolutely did. I always said, if I remember correctly last week, I definitely said the Ravens were going to win this.
Yep.
Overall, Lamar Jackson he had one hell of a game though. Like
marvelous, dude.
He was flawless.
No, it was really good performance by him, which was nice to see, honestly, just because of the Ravens' performance in past playoffs as well.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see at least like that Lamar was able to have a game basically. Everyone
proved the doubt is wrong.
Defense was on. Exactly. The defense was on one. The offense was on one. Honestly, just great performance all around. Definitely, still, in my opinion, the best team right now in the NFL. And that's what I have to say about that.
Well, of all the, I mean, I was going to say of all the games, but it's only 4 of the 4 games that we watched for the playoffs. Baltimore was the team that did what they were supposed to do and did it in a confident fashion. Obviously, the teams that were supposed to win did, but for some of those games, wasn't as pretty as what Baltimore did, especially in the second half. So, well, I'll
say 2 more things.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
Before we move on, sorry. Number 1, Lamarvelous. That is insane. I'm sorry. But with that being said, we are rooting for Lamar, and I don't know if you want to admit this, but I was the biggest hater of Lamar in the beginning. I'm going to give him his flowers now, and I am rooting for him to stop this Chiefs nonsense. This nonsense needs to be stopped. I can't do the wave thing with Swift. I can't do it. I can't.
No, right now I agree. I was a big Lamar Ravens hater for sure. 100%. Here you go. There are your flowers. There they are. But
right
here now,
your Zay flowers.
Zay flowers. Yeah, here are your Zay flowers. That was actually good.
Okay.
That was actually a good one. But and we'll talk about the Chiefs and Bills game a little bit here in just a minute. But Lamar needs to win this game against the Chiefs. Has to. This is literally. All the memes on TikTok have been great. America versus the Chiefs. I sent Zach a TikTok earlier. It was the Avengers Endgame, and I saw right where Captain America was, and it's not supposed to be character related at all, right? It was just because he was the only one there. They had the Chiefs logo, and then you swipe to the next photo on there, and then it had Thanos and his army. Bless you. Had Thanos and his army, and then over Thanos, it was the Ravens logo, and then the army was every single NFL logo because no one wants the Chiefs to win. The only people who want the Chiefs to win this and go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl are Chiefs fans or Swifties.
Yeah.
Right.
Horrific. It is horrific. And everyone
Taylor Swift needs to be stopped. I can't see it in the Super Bowl. I can't do it. I'm sorry. As an NFL fan, I'm going to look you in the eyes and say, stop this, NFL. Stop it. Because I can't do it anymore. I can't see the wave, the baloney where she acts like she knows football. She doesn't know football either. That's the thing. I'm like... Anyways, and then the second thing that I want to say was the Ravens defense looks insane. They are by far. That team looks really scary. And this next game, once we predict with the Chiefs, will be very interesting. But let's move on. Sorry, that's crazy.
Okay, all right. Anyway, well, that was the first game. We're going to talk about the Chiefs and Chiefs and Bills in a minute. But let's first talk about our other game in the NFC, which was the Buccaneers at Lions. Final score on that was 30 in the Buccaneers' favor. No, hold on. I apologize. 31-23 was the final score.
In the Lions' favor.
Yeah. Jared Goff, 30 for 43, 287 yards, 2 tutties. Jahmyr Gibbs, 9 carries for 74 yards in a tutty. Baker, on the other hand, was 26 for 41, 349 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 2 interceptions on that though. To kind of one of them I can forgive him on the interception. The other one was a little sloppy. So
the last one was bad. The first one was a tip ball. So
yeah,
right.
Do what you will with that.
Anyway, Lions did what they were supposed to do. I think I said the Lions will win this, but I'd rather have the Bucs win it. And then I watched the Lions secondary kind of kick in, and I was like, okay, like this Lions defense is actually kind of good. Like maybe I've just been looking at them all wrong. They look really well rounded. I think if you're what?
Their secondary looked good.
Looked better than the Niners secondary.
Baker Mayfield threw for 360.
Baker Mayfield's been on a tear. Baker Mayfield had almost 5,000 yards this season.
Oh man, you're not watching it. You're watching, but dude. Baker Mayfield threw for 350 on 25 completions.
Well, okay, 3 of them were insanely deep balls. Yeah, 350, great. But they still had 2 interceptions, and they still clutched the game up when it mattered.
No. They didn't clutch it. Baker threw it right to him, but okay. I don't know about their secondary, man. Their secondary is the worst secondary in the remaining playoff teams by a good margin.
I actually would put I think their secondary is better than the Niners secondary right now, but you can call me nuts.
Couple fakes going wide open in the end zone. It is melted as he gets the feet down. He is touchdown.
Anyway.
Oh my God. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Woo!
Well, anyway, Lions win a pretty good game. A very important game. Finally get back to the conference championship for the first time in 31 years. So that's pretty nice. I'll go ahead and start. I thought this game was absolutely insane. At first, I was a little worried. It was kind of a little back and forth, like it was shootout after shootout. Actually, it was basically the game was tied going into the fourth quarter. The Lions go up by 14, then give up a touchdown. Bucs tried to go for 2 for some odd reason, and then Baker comes back on the field and throws a touchdown. So, or an interception. Sorry. So
going for 2 there makes 0 sense.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what also did not make sense with that game? Why didn't the Bucs use a timeout at the end of the game?
Sportsmanship.
I was curious about the same thing. He said that regardless they would have gotten a first down, but then someone was like, wouldn't you still want an opportunity to get the ball back? Oh no. It would have been like there wouldn't have been enough time to run a play.
They already had a field goal and lined up, and there would have been about 12 seconds left on the clock to end the ball game. We weren't going to come back from that. No sense of prolonging the obvious.
I was very sick on Saturday.
Still though, man. I don't know. Still though, in my eyes, I see it like this is to go to the NFC Championship. Like, do something about it, right? Like sportsmanship, sure, but this is to go to the NFC Championship. Give it your all, honestly, at that point, right? Like, I don't know. That's the way I see it, at least. I get it if it is sportsmanship, but I don't know.
It didn't matter though.
I get that it didn't matter.
If they would have called a timeout on first down, they would have been able to run the clock off regardless, like in that 4th down situation or 3rd down situation, like they knew going into it, like if they call the timeout there, that's going to be low-key fucked. I'm pretty sure they must have talked to the refs or something, because there's no way you don't call a timeout there. Like, you're not that dumb. Like, no coach of the NFL isn't going to call a timeout there. Like, even if they do it on first down, they don't have enough timeouts or enough time to stop the clock and get it back. Because they could have called it on that 3rd down, it would have been 4th, and they would have had to punt it, right? Like, yeah, or they would have turned the ball over. But like going into that 3rd down, knowing it's going to be 4th, if they do call a timeout, I think it's just a sportsmanship thing. Like, especially if you don't call it on first down. But I don't know. Like, it was kind of weird. I saw some videos on that too, and how people were like, the NFL scripted. I'm like, I don't know about that one. Like, that's like one of the worst pieces of evidence to say that the NFL is scripted, in my opinion. But it was crazy.
I don't know. Lions go in obviously on their home turf. And they do what they're supposed to do. So I think that's most important.
I give him props. Jahmyr Gibbs is a fucking beast too.
Yeah. Now they play the Santa Clara 49ers.
He is really good.
So that'll be a good game. Well, Ant, did you want to talk a little bit about that game? Did you already talk? I'm sorry. My head has been I've been on a cloud last
I don't know.
days.
Which game are you on now?
I'm on the Lions still.
Still on the Lions? I mean, not really. Lions stood on business there. Excuse me. I don't know. They did their job. They played great. I'm honestly really happy for the city of Detroit with this right now. It's awesome. Good for them. Seriously. I don't know. I mean, I don't have much to say. Haven't followed the Lions. I don't follow the Lions too much this season, but obviously they're doing great. Really happy for the city of Detroit, and I'm excited to see how their game against the Niners go.
Nice. Well, okay, let's move into our AFC matchup that was honestly kind of a banger. This is
for sure was the matchup of the week.
I'm going to be honest. I did not watch any. I think I maybe watched 5 minutes of this game. I was literally I think this is Sunday night. I was the most sick I've ever been in my entire life. So definitely didn't watch an ounce of the game. So I'll let you guys talk about it. I'll pull up the score though.
That makes sense. Why you blame Josh Allen then?
Yeah, I actually rewatched the game. I rewatched the game and I was like, okay, cool. So great. So yeah, he played really well including 26 of 39 for 186 yards. So I was like, yeah, that's top 5 talent right there, in my opinion. So I'm glad
it is top 5 for sure.
Yeah,
and he did play really well with 5 drops.
Yes. Yeah.
Either way, I'll say this.
Anyway,
the biggest takeaway to me.
Let me just say this.
Go for it. Go for it.
Kansas City at Buffalo. Final score was 27-24. A little bit of stats for you. 27 in favor of the Chiefs. Final, a little bit of stats. Patrick Mahomes, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pacheco, 97 yards, a touchdown. Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns. His first receiving touchdown since week 11. Kind of wild, and he gets 2 of them. Josh Allen has 72 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he had an insane, mind-boggling 186 yards and a single touchdown. So
you can't have the stat line like he did, going out there doing nothing after talking all season long, and then do the thing where you stare at the Kansas City Chiefs, celebrating because they won. I saw a bunch of memes like that. I don't think he actually did, but I think that's just crazy, dude. Go to a different team. Yeah. Be a baby on a different team. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Right. It's this. It's go be a baby on a team.
And now it's scratched up. So
go be a baby on a different team. Pat your fucking stats and be okay with it because you're not going to win on the Bills doing what you're doing. It's clear. And I don't know if I think Sean McDermott should be fired, but I think they should look into changing something or having something be changed because 3 out of the last 4 years, they've been a Super Bowl favorite, I believe, at least once during the season. I know this year they were for sure to start the season. And they haven't done anything. They've lost to the Chiefs 3 times in a row now after beating them more than they've lost in the regular season. So something needs to change. And I don't know. It was a banger of a game. I loved watching it, but it just kind of upset me that Josh Allen got so much hate afterwards, which I get. He's lost to Patrick Mahomes 3 times in the playoffs, but this one specifically to me, he had a really well-rounded game. It reminded me of Lamar's game, but they didn't win. And that's the biggest thing. They didn't win. If you count wins and losses as a quarterback stat, I could see why you want Josh Allen to be winning more of these games. But I think the Bills failed him this time. And, dude, I don't understand how Bass missed that kick. He hasn't missed anything this year, anything, and he pulls the hell out of it. What?
I would like to.
And I know what you're about to say. I know what you're about to say too. Are you going to say the conspiracy theory that everyone's saying?
No, I don't know about the conspiracy theory. I've been out of the football media for a few days.
Go for it.
I said this. I think Anthony, you had Tyler Bass this year, right, on fantasy?
He was horrible. He was only good in the beginning of the season. Didn't do much at all in the middle or end.
I remember
would always miss the field goals.
multiple times I called him Tyler Bass, but the B is silent. That couldn't ring more true during that game.
No, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I literally was all like, I guarantee he misses this because and just because of my fantasy with him, I was all like, there's no way.
And I'm not this is genuinely me. I did watch like the last 5 minutes of the game because I was up in my room and I was like, okay, I'm starting to like feel a little bit better, at least enough to like watch something on TV. I was like, what's the score? It's like 27-24. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll turn it on. Like, it's probably exciting. When Tyler Bass lined up for that field goal, I swear to God, and granted, like no one was near me and I kind of said it in my head, but I was like, I honestly feel like there's a missed field goal incoming. And I don't know why I said it. I'm not LeBron James. Like, I'm not capping about it. I literally thought that. And sure enough, bro shanked the hell out of that ball. That thing wasn't even close.
Yeah, dude, he missed it right too, which is fucking like weird for a right kicker.
He missed that thing like
it is weird to miss it right with a right kicking kicker, if that makes sense. Right-footed kicker. Yes. To miss that bad, it makes no sense. And he doesn't miss field goals that close either, especially in the playoffs. He's known for hitting them, and he has in the past. So I was like, oh, this is such a Bills way to lose. And he's had a bad season, but I don't know. I thought that was crazy, honestly. I felt bad for Josh, but I don't know. I like the Bills fans. I kind of laughed when they were crying, though. I'm not going to lie. I just, dude, you can't get your hopes up being that city.
I gotta say, like, them throwing snowballs at Patrick Mahomes is so bittersweet.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, it's like, it's funny that he's getting pelted with a snowball, but then he he's going back to his, sixth straight AFC championship. What more can this guy do? Like,
that's the thing. Like, I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like Patrick Mahomes specifically because the way that he was a baby this year and he bitched a little bit and, he was complaining about a lot of stuff, right? But I will say I love watching Patrick Mahomes play. Like, really, the main reason I don't want to see him play further into the next game, which is the Super Bowl, is because of Taylor Swift and his family. That's it. Like, I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he is a great NFL headliner for Super Bowl. I think he is the quarterback the NFL needs and wants and continues to, push on to the people that he's the GOAT. He's the best player in the NFL. He's a very good face for the NFL too. So I don't mind him playing, but the drama that he has that brings with this team, I'm like, oh my God, dude, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. And that's why I'm rooting for the Ravens.
Yeah. Well,
here we go.
Okay. Let's move on to our last game. I'm gonna get my stuff out of the way first.
You can go for it. You can go for it.
Okay. We said on that. I think we all unanimously agreed that the Green Bay Packers would lose, although I wasn't hoping for it. But I believe Anthony had also said the same thing, that if the Packers got out to kind of a fast start and got their defense playing well, it would be a tough matchup for the Niners, and we saw that. Final score was 21-24 in favor of the Niners. In the third quarter, the Packers came out firing, scored 15 straight points, and then just crumbled. There was a genuine point where I'm texting my buddy, like, 5 more minutes, and the Niners lose. And of course, what a Niners way to win. Look, I gotta say, the Brock Purdy glazing, brother did not play well. I'm sorry. Yeah, he got the win. Like, the win is the most important thing. But wins aren't a QB stat for most fans, right? We've just discussed that. So let's take out the win. Let's look at his stats. 23 of 39, 252 yards and a touchdown. Doesn't sound that bad. And then you look at his incompletions. Trash. They lose Deebo Samuel, and he literally becomes a 7th-round pick. I'm sorry. He's not that good, especially when they don't have Deebo. And what I saw was 2 dropped picks from the Packers that could have sealed or at least like broken the game open. And then I saw 2 shitty throws by Jordan Love to close out the game on their behalf and choke the game. My biggest rant about the Packers losing this was there was a play, I think, Christian McCaffrey had rushed up the middle of the field, got down to like the 10 or 11 yard line, and Packers had all 3 timeouts, and there's like a minute and a half left, and they are down by, what is it? Only down by 3. So a touchdown puts them up by 4. So if you're the Packers, well, you kind of know that they're going to score at this point. So what do? You call the timeout, you let them score, you come back with about a minute and a half left of the ball, and then you can try and at least get a field or like a touchdown, win the game, right? That's your only hope. Matt LaFleur didn't use a timeout. He let the clock drain all the way down to a minute before they scored a touchdown, and then forced Jordan Love to make some silly throws and kills the game. Niners escape. This was the ugliest win I've seen them have in like a playoff perspective in a very long time. They barely beat a team they were supposed to absolutely spank. They're 14-point favorites. And honestly, I think the Lions offensively are more structural.
14-point favorites.
Were they not? Or was it like 10-point favorites?
Oh, I thought you meant against the Lions. I'm sorry.
No. They're 7-point favorites. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, I think if the Niners play like that, and there's a chance, and more than likely it's looking that Debo doesn't play, you have to rely on Christian McCaffrey. The one thing the Lions have been really good at doing all year is stopping the run, and they are healthy. And I don't know how it matches up for the Lions or for the Niners, but I was definitely a little upset that the Packers took that game again. So, yeah.
All right. Am I okay to talk now? And do you have anything to continue with what Keaton's saying, or an opinion of your own, or do you want me to just go into
Yeah, I'll say something real quick about it. It was a weird game. I'm not going to say it was good. It was bad. It was weird. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. It was not the blowout that we all thought it was going to be. The fact that the Packers were very close to winning is concerning. But for Niner fans, it is concerning. But Niners still got the dub. They still got it. The win's a win, right? Like not gonna count that out at all. The win is a win, 100%. Niners move on playing the Lions. I don't know. It's interesting though, because your guys's record against the Packers in the playoffs is unbeatable right now. You guys in the last 10, 15 years, you guys have beaten the Packers every single time in the playoffs, even if it's close or if it's a blowout. Either or, you guys have beat them. So you guys still carry that on, which good for you guys. Awesome. But it was just a weird game. It was not what I expected at all. And I saw you pacing around a lot, and I was like, oh boy. But it was a weird game. Good for the Niners. They move on. Curious to see how they're going to do against Lions, especially after that performance that they that they showed during the Packers game. So I'm curious. It's going to be an interesting game. Anyway, Zach, you're good to go now.
Okay.
And we lost
number one.
Oh,
number one.
There he is.
Did you hear what I just said or no?
I heard number one, and that was it.
What I said was we're going to talk about the game, how we matched up, what I feel about the game, and then my honest opinion about pretty much everything in the next upcoming game against the Lions. Number one, I said it from the beginning, I think Green Bay's been playing great ball lately, and they did not match up against us well. And I looked at that game, and I was like, I was worried about their zone defense. I was worried about Jordan Love being able to be mobile and extending plays. And that's exactly why I was worried. And going into the game, obviously, I showed my worry with what I said here and to you guys. And I thought, it was going to be a pretty close game just because it is a rival game. Like you said, Ant, we've played each other, I think, 3 or 4 times in the last probably 10 years. But we play each other often, right? And so going into it, I knew it was going to be physical. I knew it was going to be chirpy. Like, again, we play each other a lot, so we're kind of a rival. And again, we didn't match up well. I thought we had a 3-week basically bye for some of our players. They were clearly rusty. They had a great zone defense, and they showed it. They had a very, very good zone defense and a mobile quarterback in Jordan Love who played well except for the fourth quarter. So all of that being said, I did not think we lined up well against them. I still thought we would win. I didn't think we would cover, but I thought we would win better or more by more points than what we did on last Saturday. Okay, so we're going into the game, right? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm really nervous. We are 0-30 when down 7 points going to the fourth quarter, and that's how it was. I know Brock is different. I've seen it with the Cleveland game. Not to say we were down by 7 there, but he's came back and he's done it before. I had confidence in him. I will say I was pacing back and forth. Got to the point where my legs and arms and everything was shaky. Drake Greenlaw gets the pick. He seals the deal. I'm happy. I'm not happy with how we played, but I'm happy we won and we can move on. So number one, I'll get all this out of the way and say shout out to the Packers because this was one of those years where they could have been a contender or really been bad. And they were very good, exceeded expectations, and they are going to be very good for years to come. Number two, I think that, again, losing Debo sucked. There was rain that was involved. That sucked. And I'm not going to make excuses. Brock didn't play well for 3 quarters. However, I'm going to go with the opposite of what you're saying, Keaton, and say that this was the most important and most impressive win we've seen Brock give the 49ers. Again, every single person is shitting on him, which I get. He did not play well, and I'm not shitting on him because I think he won a close game, and that's how it works sometimes in the NFL. We thought it could be close. It was close. He pulled out in the end. 6 for 7, 80 yards, scored a game-winning touchdown. He also leads the league in almost every single stat. So for people to say, oh, he was supposed to be here, and I was going to play this video, but it's too long. He's supposed to be here. This team's supposed to be here. Yeah, I get it, but it's also not one of those situations where you can hand the ball off 40 times and win, just like Jimmy G did. No, he actually do it. He did it. He won the game-winning drive. He won the game with the game-winning drive. And I think, honestly, I'm not going to say he proved people wrong, but that was a big game when it mattered. So with that being said, I genuinely don't understand the hate that this kid's getting. Like, I get it. I get how everyone's not understanding how a 7th-round pick can, go into an NFC Championship and win a Super Bowl and be this good. The kid led every single stat. He was MVP candidate at one time, and he just won a playoff game in his first full year starting. And he won a playoff game when it came down to it. When you ask for a quarterback and a good quarterback, one of the main things you say is he clutch or is he not clutch? Every single person in this fucking industry, and I'll say like the industry as if the people that I'm talking about are the people that analyze sports after the games. Every single one gave props to Jordan Love. Jordan Love threw 2 interceptions. Brock Purdy on the box score, his stats say 0 in a game-winning drive. Jordan Love did 0 of those. So to me, it makes no sense you give praise to a young quarterback for getting there. Brock's gotten there twice in 2 years of starting, and he single-handedly won the game. Jordan Love didn't win the game. Don't give Jordan Love praise. He choked. Brock Purdy didn't choke.
I'm not giving Jordan Love praise. Jordan Love.
I'm just saying.
He looks like
every single person that I've watched so far has hated on Brock, and it's like, dude, the kid has just won. He's 20-5 and has gone to 2 NFC championships. And it's not like he's going to the NFC Championship giving the ball to CMC every single time. He won the drive that Jimmy G didn't multiple times. Jimmy G in that game is throwing 2 picks and loses. So he's clearly a level above Jimmy G.
He's better than Jimmy G.
And I think, again, he's like borderline top 10. He's not top 5. He shouldn't be compared to Josh Allen, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes. No. But who's better than him in the NFC?
Hold on. Okay, granted. Is Brock Purdy more clutch than Jimmy G? Yeah, by a long shot. But I think it's still pretty amazing that given the same roster and a worse quarterback, a far worse, Jimmy G is an awful quarterback. I'm surprised he ever got a fat contract. Worst thing the Niners ever did, but they kind of needed to do it. It's amazing that they still made a Super Bowl run with him throwing 6 of 8. I think that, to me, is more an alert. Don't get me wrong. Brock Purdy did clutch it up. I give him his credit. But the fact that he took almost the same roster and still made it to a Super Bowl 2 years ago, I don't know, man. I don't know how you're looking at Brock Purdy and go, yeah, he's the reason. It's the other players.
Okay. Let me. Okay. And I'll respond and make it quick so we can move on because I think I've made my point. When you look at Jimmy G and you said it was impressive, right? I think that is impressive. And shout out to Kyle Shanahan with that type of quarterback to get to the NFC Championship. Again, he worries me a little bit. But you look at that team had 3 Pro Bowlers on the offensive line. What is our weakness on our team right now, Keaton? If there was a weak link in our team besides Brock Purdy, if you're going to say Brock Purdy, what is our weakness?
I would not say Brock Purdy. I would probably say, yeah, you're right. It's your offensive line.
Yeah,
but then Christian
our right side of the line, our right side of the line,
all-purpose yards.
1,700 all-purpose yards. Did he win the game rushing for 200 with 8 attempts? Absolutely not. Brock won the game throwing the ball. Brock won the game throwing the ball, winning a game throwing the ball in the rain that he did not play well in, which is a quarterback characteristic or trait that you don't see in normal quarterbacks. You don't see this in normal quarterbacks. A normal quarterback in that would have choked. And that's what pisses me off. It's like, okay, he's not going to be a Lamar. He's not fast. He's not super big like Josh Allen. He's not a fucking rocket cannon of an arm like Patrick Mahomes.
People are talking about him like he's another Patrick Mahomes. People are putting him on that pedestal that he is like a generational. I don't care. Like
he's not generational. But what stats has he not proved with that conversation with? What stats do you look at and you say, oh, he shouldn't be in that conversation because he doesn't have that stat? There's 0. He's number 1 or 2 in all of them down the list. And then just won a playoff game in the rain in horrible circumstances.
Against the 7 seed, barely.
You lose, okay, and you lose your best player on offense besides CMC. You clutch up. You make a game-winning drive. Again, do I think the Niners should have been that close? Fuck no. Does that worry me? Hell yeah, it does. Hell yeah, that worries me. But if you're going to say, oh, it was Brock's fault they were even that close, or it's Brock's fault this and that, okay, give them credit, they won. Not you specifically. I'm talking about everyone that talks about.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't think it was Brock's fault that they were there. No. I don't think Brock did a good job, at least to the non-Brock fans, like myself,
right?
That he is like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Like
he still has to prove it. I think so as well.
Yes, I agree, and we'll see what he does against the Lions. Let's real quick. We have about 8 minutes.
Yeah, last point. Sorry, that might have been the worst coaching game I have ever seen by Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan.
Oh my god, dude! We came out of the third quarter and we gave a handoff. I couldn't believe. I literally threw something at the TV. Like I was so angry. What are we doing? That right there, honestly, is a liability to me. Like, if there is a liability besides, maybe our secondary not playing well, Brock, if he gets in like a really bad mood and starts throwing interceptions in our right side of our line, it has to be Shanahan choking. Has to be.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just went on a tangent there because I've heard a lot, but let's move on to.
I imagine it's building up. Well, we'll jump into. And I appreciate you being patient while Zach ranted and I got some stuff out. Real quick, I did just want to say, and we'll jump into our last 2 games before the Super Bowl, where I'm actually recording from via Goodyear blimp. Did you guys happen to see the 4th? I think it was 4th and 3, and they fake punted. The Bills punted to Damar Hamlin, and they didn't even get close.
I couldn't believe it. They were trying to make him the hero.
That's
a bad look.
I saw the meme, and it was like they give the special needs kid the football, and he runs for the touchdown at the start of the game. And someone's like, the Bills handing off to Damar for comeback player of the year. That's a fireable offense. That's a fireable offense in a crucial game like that. Some of those were
so bad, bro.
Dude, I'm gonna add one in post.
I can't believe it.
That's a fireable offense by Sean McDermott. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Banger games, absolute banger matchups.
Yes.
We have the championship series of the NFL. And I'll let you go ahead and start, but we're going to go with Baltimore and Kansas City. This is at Baltimore as well. So.
Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. I I am going to go 100% biased on this shit. Screw the Chiefs. I don't want to see them winning this. I don't want to see them in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. If it's anything with the Chiefs, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Plus, if the Niners win too, I know Niners and Chiefs Super Bowl. I know no one wants to see that except for Chiefs and Niners fans for the most, obviously. But
what about me?
Seen that.
What about me, Ed?
I know, and I know. Like I said, besides Niner and Chiefs fans, I know for a fact everyone else does not want to see that happen. And realistically, no one wants to see the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl again. I now know how you guys feel with the Patriots, and you guys didn't want Patriots going to the Super Bowl. I get that. Yeah. So, I totally get this now.
We are literally in basketball terms, we are Warrior haters. Like, this is what people hated when Kevin Durant joined the Warriors in 2018. It was like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Like, really? Again, this is Taylor Swift joining the Chiefs is Kevin Durant joining the Warriors. I'm convinced.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want the Chiefs to win. If they do, I told Zach this because it was kind of interesting. If they do win, and say if the Lions win, right? I told him that it would be kind of funny because it would be a whole Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift would be in the building representing the Kansas City Chiefs, and if the Lions won, it would be Eminem representing Detroit in the same building as well. I saw that. I was like, that's actually kind of funny. It would be. I feel like that Super Bowl would actually get a lot of viewers because you have NFL fans and you have the Swifties and then you have the stands as well.
It would be really
cool. I'm just saying that would be that part would be cool. I just wouldn't like seeing Taylor Swift. But I mean, realistic, like looking at it from a marketing perspective and business and just advertising and everything, that would be a really good Super Bowl. But I don't even want to see the Chiefs in it. So Ravens, give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. I don't. No, done.
Okay.
And I know I just repeated myself like 8 times, but I really don't care.
Okay. So it sounds like Anthony wants the Chiefs. Zach, who do you want?
I want the Ravens, but I think it's going to be the Chiefs. And my gut is telling me when I look at this game, I'm like, dude, the Ravens can do it. The Ravens can do it. The Ravens can do it, just like Ant is saying, right? And I went into this podcast. I'm like, I think the Ravens are going to do it. And then I started like thinking about it more, and I'm like, man,
they're here every
year. The Chiefs are here every year. That Andy Reid, that Patrick Mahomes, that Kelsey combo is still together, which has obviously started this dynasty and still is together to finish this dynasty. If it does create into more of one. And then I look at the Ravens and I'm like, okay, like they're young, right? They've had obviously some experience being a playoff team, but not like far into the playoffs. And Lamar, again, he's an under 500 quarterback in the playoffs. I'm not going to say he's going to choke. I just think, again, when I look at this, I'm like, man, on paper, like that Ravens defense should stop Kansas City. That Kansas City offense shouldn't be able to drive the ball on the Ravens. Lamar should have a huge game against that Kansas City's defense, even though they've been playing really well. He's been playing lights out, I look at it and I'm like, okay, like they match up so well, but it's Kansas City. City. And I bet, again, in the beginning, I bet the Ravens winning, and they have not proven me whatsoever anything wrong to pick another team. But I think it's Kansas City here in the AFC Championship. And I think they're going to do it. I genuinely think they're going to do it. And I don't know if the Ravens make a mistake because they haven't in a while, but I've seen them make mistakes against some of these bad teams that they lost to this year. And they have a couple bad losses. Like the Steelers, again, I get it's a divisional game, but you don't lose to Kenny Pickett. Yeah. And I just think, I look at this game, I'm like, I think it's a toss-up genuinely. And if I was a betting man, I think I would put money on the Ravens because it makes logical sense, but something in my gut is telling me to go with the Chiefs. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
All right. I'll make this quick. I agree with Zach wholeheartedly. I think the Ravens should win this. I think the Chiefs win this. Right now, this is what we're dealing with is the betting against Tom Brady fallacy, where you might think, hey, Tom Brady might not be playing at the best. His defense might not be showing, or like his defense might not be playing great. Like they're clearly outmatched. the end of the day. It's the experience, it's the coaching, it's like the
just
cohesiveness of the team. Just kind of all mixes in and makes it a winnable lineup. So I think Kansas City wins this. I wouldn't be shocked in either way. I think the Ravens should win it. I don't know, man. I'm interested to see what Lamar can do.
I'm the only one sticking with Baltimore on this. Dang.
Yeah.
It's
hard to bet against the Chiefs. Okay. Other game. Niners.
I'll make this one close. I'll make this one quick.
Santa Clara 49ers against the Lions at home in Santa Clara.
I'll make this one quick. I think this goes one of two ways: a shootout where it's really close and the Lions win, or the Niners blow them out. And I'll give you one stat to tell you why. 8 receptions, 147 yards, 1 touchdown to Mike Evans. We have 2 wide receivers if Devo plays that are just as good as Mike Evans. They can't stop our offense. It will be very interesting to see our defense stops their offense because they line up really well against our defense, specifically with Jahmyr Gibbs, but there's too much power with the Niners. I think it's going to be either 31-21 if Devo plays. If he doesn't, it'll be 31-24 Niners. That is my prediction.
I'll go ahead and I'll say it, and then I'll let Anthony finish off his answer. I actually, and this is like not hate. This is some hate. I think the Lions do actually win this. I'm sorry, I can't lie, man. I would literally do anything but watch. Now, granted, I do have a reason for not wanting the Niners to win the Super Bowl, other than them being the Niners, and that I hate them more than I hate most things. I told you
crazy.
I am. I could be in the Hall of Fame of hating. Put my jersey up. I'll make this real quick. I told the group. I told the ring of hating. I told the group chat that is primarily Niners fans. I said, I've given you guys so much crap over the last 5 years. If the Niners actually win a Super Bowl, I will eat a ghost pepper on this video after the Super Bowl. So that is my caveat for choosing the Lions. I also think the Lions win 27-21. I think it's primarily because Christian McCaffrey won't be have a ton of effect in the run game. He'll still be really good. But I think he's severely limited in what he can do, at least attacking the gaps. So it's going to be about, can he do his like wheel routes and what are those? Not 5-yard out routes, but screen routes. So I think it's Brock Purdy versus the Lions defense. I think that's what it comes down to. So give me Lions 27-21.
I like both points. I like both points a lot. Both of you guys make great arguments with who's going to win this. I think San Francisco is going to win, but sorry, Santa Clara, according to Keaton. But I would like to see the Lions win, and not just because I want to see the Niners lose. It's not why. It's because it's because Detroit has not been to the Super Bowl in years. Like, I don't know. I think that would be so cool for the city of Detroit. I don't know. Like, I think that would just be really cool for them. And I think that would be a very, I don't know. I think that'd just be really, really awesome. Even if they don't win the Super Bowl, that's still a huge accomplishment for that team in general. Yeah. For them being so horrible,
if only they were in the AFC,
years and
that
years
would be really
and
cool.
years. Yeah, but you know, I just think that'd be awesome for them. I think that would be really, really good overall for how bad their team has been for so long. And I don't know. I would like to see the Lions win this. I would like to see them. I think the Niners could pull it off. I personally think this is going to be a close game. I don't see this being a blowout. And if I'm wrong, then oh well. But I can't see this being a blowout. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of hate between our friend group on that day, probably, which will be very interesting. So let's see if we can all just kind of keep it cool.
It will be.
Let's just say the hating with all of us. Let's keep that at a cool. Like,
Yeah.
You know, we all need to
We'll
remember that what we say, we need to remember what we're all saying to each other, no matter what happens. It's jokes, and we're all friends at the end of the day.
I still have.
Hey, that's why we have separate group chats.
That's why we have separate
Say the
group
bad
chats.
stuff on that one.
I still have
Yeah,
a
but
Purdy pack.
half of us are gonna be with all of us are gonna be with each other though. It's just Blake and I with each other that's gonna be rooting for the Lions.
Hey,
Go Niners.
Hey,
Go Niners.
I still have my Purdy pack, so I'm ready to light that thing up if the Niners somehow lose.
I got it too, bud. I got it too.
Okay. What is this?
All right.
This.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your night, fellas. You'll be seeing this episode.
Thanks y'all for
on
listening
Friday.
/ watching. We will catch y'all next week.
Later, everyone.